Things gone thick and fast over in the Championship, of course, as Watford look to make it 2 wins from 2. Can, of course, anything stop them at the moment? We're going to take a little look next. Game, another prediction video today. We look forward to match number 2 in the EFL Championship, as of course Watford look to keep on winning, keep on scoring after their opening day 4-0 drubbing to put themselves top of the table. Of course, we'll take a look at that and more in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button back to all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We're all here, boys, under one roof here. Of course, Stoke also big winners, got themselves a few goals as well to compete at the top of the table. Of course, both sides looking to keep their 100% winning record intact. We'll look at all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VRPs. Who are they? They are the patrons, guys. You know who you are. So let's get into it and have a little look at what we're talking about. We're talking about this then, lads, is, of course, match day number 2. A quick recap. What are we talking about? We're talking about this then. It's match day number 2. We'll get to that shortly. Of course, this is a recap of how I got on in match day number 1. So here we go. Of course, Southampton opened up with a 2-1 win. I did go for the shock value on that one because, you know, opening day, there's usually a couple of clangers in there. I opted for this to be my clanger, and unfortunately, I was wrong. I was also a little bit wrong about these guys. That's right, Rovers with a 0-0 draw against West Brom. But guess what? Rovers turned up in their youth and picked up a cheeky 2-1 win. Bristol City also got a draw, just a draw against Preston. I went with a 2-0 win, so a shit show for me. Millwall picked up probably one of the results of the weekend with a 1-0 win on the road against Middlesbrough. I went with a 2-1 win. Hull left it late. Newcastle. I said Norwich. I said Norwich. They left it late with a 1-0 win over Hull City in a game that flip-flopped all over the place. But of course, Norwich with the Canaries starting off with a win. Plymouth Argyle, big win for them, 3-1 win over Huddersfield. I went with a 2-1 win. Ain't too shabby on this one. Now, okay, there's a little bit of a dubiousness on the graphic here. I went with a 1-0 win for Watford against QPR, but of course, originally that was when the fixture was scheduled, but of course it was at Vicarage Road, so it was a 4-0 win, so technically I got that one right. I just didn't get as many goals as that, so yeah, there's a little bit of confusion in that graphic. Meanwhile, I also picked up a win for Stoke over Rotherham. I went with a 2-0, 4-1 it was. I also went with a cheeky 1-1 draw with Swansea against Birmingham. I got that one bang on the nose. Leicester City 2-1 win over Coventry. How do you like those apples? I went with a 3-1 win myself. However, I did back Leeds, but of course they threw it. Well, they left it late as well with a 2-2 draw against Cardiff. And of course, Tony Mowbray shit the bed against his old playing club there, Ipswich Town. So 2-1 it was there. Of course, Prediction League. How did you guys get on? Well, we're about to find out. Hold tight, sit back, and enjoy the ride indeed. Let's fling that sucker over here. Bish bash bosh, and let's get rid of me. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go into this leaderboard here and see that I'm doing pretty terrible at the moment. Let's make that big. Make it look sexy. So I just love Norwich. Is flying. Absolutely flying right now after the opening day. 15.5 points on the board. TAB up there with 15 points. Russell's up there as well with 15. So well done to those guys. DJ Horn in there. Fuck me. I love that name. It's a little cheeky, isn't it? Philly Rovers. What's he doing up there? Can we zoom in on that chap? Let's zoom in on Philly Rovers. I cannot believe it. How has he snuck in there? That, my friends, is an absolute shocker. I don't know how he's done it. I don't know who he bribed or what witch doctor he slept with, but he's bloody gone and done it. 13.5. He's out-predicted me. Even bloody Alex Weller's out-predicted me. Shepard's out-predicted me. I got a 10.5, I think. Sexy Ogie's bloody... Now, I beat her. I'm surely I beat her. There's Jacob Ward. There's me. 10.5. Okay, it's a marathon, not a sprint, guys. But well done to all of you taking part. A whopping incredible 60 people involved in the first week. We need to have you get back here. There's 61, in fact, 61. Again, you can come back. Don't worry, it's not one and done. And of course, you know, I just love it. He's going to shit the bed. He will not be here. I'm challenged. Challenge accepted here. I love Norwich. You will not be there at the end of the season. I guarantee it. But anyway, you could still win even if you've not participated as well. So that's the Prediction League. And here I am back in HD. So get involved. cut4/EFL. It's free. It is free. So get in amongst it. Just like this guy, of course, Carl Doherty. What did he go? He went for Southampton. He went for Rovers. He went for Middlesbrough. Ha ha ha. Shocker Rooney there. He also went for Swansea. And Leeds as well. Meanwhile, man is this appa, whatever that is. He went for Southampton. He went for West Brom. That must burn. And he also went for Tony Mowbray's Sunderland. I think I have another one. I do. It's Jamie Gold. He also went with a 3-2 win for West Brom. My, oh my. Do not write off the Rovers. You can't win anything with kids except for the ones at bloody Ewood. And Stoke, big 3-0 winners over Rotherham. Not too far off of that. He also went with a 3-2 win for Cardiff. Just off the money there. But of course, it's all to be had in the Super Brew. Get involved. Get your picks on in the comments as well so we can name and shame you next week. So get involved. This is what the table looks like, of course. I was going to say stop the count now, but how on earth have we slipped out? It should be on alphabetical goal difference. We should be above you, Leicester, you cheeky bastards. But anyway, Watford lead the charge, Stoke as well, Huddersfield, Rotherham, and QPR. A lot of people's tips to go down. All three of them are right down there, and it could be a long old season for them. These are the games, of course, looking forward to match number 2, and we're going to jump into the deep end right about now. But of course, we're all kicking it all off right here, right now with this one. Of course, it is Birmingham up against Leeds United. Let's get into the deep end on this one. Of course, coming at you on Saturday, August the 12th. Now, these two sides have pitched 27 times since 2002. 14 wins for Birmingham. We got 10 wins for Leeds. We got 3 draws, of course. Birmingham's biggest win over Leeds, 4-1 win. They've actually scored 40 goals in those 27 games, 1.48 goals game ratio. Up against Leeds, of course, whose biggest win was a 4-0 win. They've only scored 35 goals in those 27 matches, 1.3 goals game ratio. Of course, Leeds, of course, with Daniel Farke at the helm, 42% form for them right now, unbeaten in the last 3. Up against the Birmingham side, also coming into this on 75% form, of course, opened up with a draw. Both sides opened up with a draw this past weekend. Of course, last time they played each other, let's have a bit of this action, was a 9-goal thriller way back in the 29th of December, 2019. 5-4 it was in favour of Leeds. Of course, that'll be absolutely fantastic. Leeds will be taking on Shrewsbury in the Carabao Cup this weekend, or this midweek. They're expected to win that game. Birmingham go to Cheltenham, also expected to win the game, albeit very, very tricky. The odds here, 3-1 is your Leeds. We've got 6-5 on. Sorry, 3-1 is your Birmingham, 6-5 on is, of course, your Leeds, and 13-5 is your draw. On the other hand, I'm going to go with the Birmingham City victory here. Of course, they are the mood around the camp seems positive. They've got Tom Brady involved now, spending some money as well. Leeds, on the flip side, look a little bit lost after the opening day scramble, of course, against Cardiff. Next up, it is Cardiff up against QPR. Of course, you would think this is a rubber stone cold home win. Well, it could well be that. Of course, Iriel Bulut, of course, opening day draw up against QPR and Gareth Ainsworth. Played each other 31 times since 2002. We've got 9 wins for Cardiff, 16 wins for QPR, and 6 draws. Of course, biggest win for Cardiff, 4-0 win. They've scored 30 goals in those 31 games, 0.97 goals game ratio. Up against QPR with their biggest win over Cardiff, 6-1 it was, 38 goals scored in those 31 games, and 1.23 goals game ratio heading into this. Back-to-back defeats for QPR at the moment, including pre-season. Cardiff, of course, also winless without in the last 4, 42% form for them at the moment. Of course, last time around over in Wales, it was a 0-0 draw back in Boxing Day 2022. Cardiff haven't scored in any of the last 2 games against QPR, so they'll be looking to change that around this time around. Of course, Watford 4-0 draw to QPR earlier. Leeds picked up a 2-2 draw with Cardiff. Cardiff taking on Colchester in Carabao Cup this week, expected to win that game. Of course, QPR's game against Norwich is way away. Is way back in the 16th of August. They're expected to lose that game as well, but you never know. Things might turn around by that point. Even Stevens, of course, is your Cardiff. 13-5 is your 13-5 is also your away win here, but I am backing QPR to lose, Cardiff to win, 2-0 win, and they're moving on into the next, not next round, but of course picking up more 3 points. Coventry City up against Middlesbrough, and zinger, of course, a repeat of the playoff semi-finals. That's right, played each other 27 times since 1995. 7 wins for Coventry, 12 wins for Middlesbrough, 8 draws, of course. Coventry coming at you, biggest win over Borough, 3-0 win, scoring 25 goals in those 27 games, and of course 0.93 goals a game ratio. Up against Borough, 4-0 win was the biggest over Coventry, 35 goals scored in those 27 games, 1.3 goals game ratio heading into this. Borough, though, coming to this without a win in 4 now, 42% form for them right now. Up against Coventry, what are we looking at? 58% form for them, just 1 defeat in the past 5. Last time around, at the Rico. It was in the playoffs. It was a 0-0 draw. And of course, Coventry going unbeaten against Middlesbrough over the last 4, pick up a couple of wins and a couple of draws. And they've only conceded just the 1 goal against them in those last 4 games. Middlesbrough opened up with a 1-0 loss against Millwall. That was a shocker there. Coventry with a big loss against Leicester. But they are taking on Wimbledon this week in the Cup. They're expected to win there. Of course, Huddersfield be Middlesbrough's hosts this weekend. And again, both sides in this match expected to win. Coventry coming at you. 29-20 for the victory, 50-8 is your Borough, 11-5 is the draw. Tight one, this one. Going to go with the hosts, though. 2-1 win. Middlesbrough could be in a bit of trouble for the first couple of games of the season. Meanwhile, Millwall and Bristol City, 2 unbeaten sides, locking horns at the Den. That's right. Millwall, after the fantastic results so far, will host Bristol City and Nigel Pearson. Played each other 25 times. Since 1993, we've got 9 wins for Millwall, 7 wins for Bristol City, and we've got 9 draws, of course. Millwall, though, with a big 4-1 win over, of course, Bristol City. That was their biggest, scoring 29 goals in those 25 games, 1.16 goals game ratio. Up against Bristol City, though, biggest win for them over Millwall was a 3-0 win. They've scored just 23 goals in those 25 games, 0.92 goals game ratio. Heading into this, though, Bristol City unbeaten in the last 6 games, included into the pre-season. 83% form for them, winning 4 and drawing a couple. Millwall, though, 58% form for them right now, and of course started off with that fantastic win against Borough. Last time they played each other over at the Den, though, it was a 0-0 draw. That was way back in 29th of December 2022. Bristol City opened up with that draw against Preston. They'll take on Oxford at Thrashton Gate this coming midweek. As for Millwall, they'll be taking on Reading at the Den. So back-to-back home games for Millwall this week. And of course, the odds for this one, 6-5 on is your Millwall, 5-2 is your draw, 10-3 is your away win. Going to go with a draw here. Both sides will continue their unbeaten start to the season. I think Millwall will kick themselves, dropping a couple of points on that one. Meanwhile, another zinger. It's the Ross Martin derby. That's right. It's Southampton up against Norwich, coming at you at St Mary's. Now, these two sides have played each other 30 times since 1994. 15 wins for Southampton, 8 wins for Norwich, and we've got 7 draws, of course. Southampton's biggest win over Norwich, 3-0 win, 56 goals in those 30 games, 1.87 goals game ratio. Wow, wee wow. Up against Norwich, of course, biggest win for them over Southampton, 3-1 win it was. 41 goals scored in those 30 games, 1.37 goals game ratio. Heading into this, of course, Norwich with an 83% success rate over the last 6 games, winning 3 on the spin. Southampton, of course, just 1 win in, actually 2 wins in 6 for them, 42% form for them heading into this one, of course. Last time around, though, over at St Mary's, it was a 2-0 win for Southampton. That was back in February 2022. That was in the Premier League, of course. And so the Saints, of course, will take on Gillingham this week, of course, on the road. Tricky away game for them, but they're expected to sidestep that challenge, of course. And Norwich's game against QPR is, of course, way away in the distance. The odds right here, right now, 4-3 on is your Southampton, 11-4 is the draw, 7-2 is your Norwich on this one. Of course, Russell Martin will get one over his old club. 2-0 win for them over Norwich. That's right, kicking on forward it is Watford up against Plymouth, a couple of the headline makers this past weekend. Of course, Watford coming at you at Vicarage Road, played Plymouth 11 times since 2004, 4 wins apiece and 3 draws. That's right. Of course, biggest win for Watford, 3-1 win. They're scoring 13 goals in those 11 games, 1.18 goals a game ratio up against Plymouth. Plymouth, though, biggest win for them over Watford, 2-1 win, 12 goals scored in those 11 games, 1.09 goals game ratio, and they come into this on 75% form. That's just 1 defeat at the past 6. Watford, though, come into this on 50% form, 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2. Of course, last time around, though, over at Vicarage Road, way back in April 2010, it was a 1-0 win for Watford. Of course, in that same season, did back-to-back wins over Plymouth and haven't conceded a goal since 2009. Wow, wee wow. Plymouth, though, 3-1 winners over Huddersfield. Great performance from them. They'll take on Leyton Orient in the Cup this week. Watford, of course, big 4-0 win over QPR. They'll take on Stevenage. Of course, both Championship clubs are expected to make light work of that opposition. Watford, though, 10-7 on for the victory here. 13-5 is your draw. 4-1 is your long shots. Plymouth on the road. 3-0 win for Watford for me. And, of course, some more goals. And I'll keep them sitting pretty at the top of the table. Of course, next up, we've got Huddersfield Town up against Leicester City. That's right. Coming at you, the John Smith's Kirklees McAlpine Stadium. Here we go. Of course, last time around, we'll get to that minute. 14 times they played each other since 1985. We've got 2 wins for Huddersfield, 10 wins for Leicester, and 2 draws, of course. Huddersfield, biggest win for them over Leicester, 3-1 win, scoring 16 goals in those 14 games, 1.14 goals a game ratio. Up against Leicester, though, 6-1 win, the biggest win over Huddersfield. 35 goals scored in those 14 games, 2.5 goals a game ratio. This could be an onslaught. That's right. Huddersfield, though, just 1 defeat the past 6, 75% form for them right now. Leicester, of course, just 1 defeat the past 5 for them, 58% form for them heading into this. Last time around, though, over at the McAlpine Stadium was a 4-1 win for Leicester back in April 2019. That could have been, what year did they win the Premier League, Leicester? Let me know in the comments, of course. Leicester opened up with a 2-1 win at Coventry. Plymouth with a big 3-1 win over Huddersfield, and Huddersfield will take on Borough in the Cup. Leicester taking on Burton in the Pirelli in the Cup. And of course, Huddersfield expect to lose. Leicester expect to win. The odds on this Badgerino, though, we have Huddersfield 7-2. Of course, 10-7 on is your Leicester. 3-1 is the draw here. Of course, one winner here. 3-1 win, though. Might be a bit itchy bum time for Huddersfield. Scratchy bum time, whatever you want to call it. They might get a goal. They might get a goal in this one to kind of cause some problems, but we'll see. Hull City up against Sheffield Wednesday, of course, at the KCOM, that's right, KCOM, of course, MKM Stadium, they call it these days. Played each other 20 times, these two sides, since, of course, 2004. 10 wins for Hull, 4 wins for Sheff Wed, and, of course, 6 wins, of course. Hull, biggest win for them over Sheffield Wednesday, 3-0 win, scoring 24 goals in those 20 games, 1.20 goals game ratio. Sheffield Wednesday, though, biggest win for them over Hull, 3-1 win, scoring 16 goals in the 20 games, 0.80 goals game ratio. And they come into this, though, on really woeful form. 4 defeats on the spin, 25% form for them over the last 6. Hull, though, coming to on 58% form, just 1 defeat in the past 6. However, a lot of draws, but again, that could be pre-season form. Heading into this, last time around, though, they played each other at Hull. It was a 1-0 win for Hull, who actually won 3 on the spin against Wednesday and haven't conceded a goal since 2018, of course. Wednesday with that loss against Southampton, Hull with a loss against Norwich, of course. Hull taking on Doncaster as well at home, back-to-back home games. So then Wednesday hosting Stockport County, and again, both championship sides represented here. We should win that game, but of course it is the Cup. 13-10 is your Hull, 12-5 is draw, 2-1 is your away win here. I'm backing a draw here. Big point on the road for Wednesday, another couple of points dropped there for Hull, you would imagine, but we'll see if I'm right. And not wrong. Ipswich Town up against Stoke City. That's right. What am I talking about? Of course, a bit of a zinger. This one, both sides opened up with a win. Impressive wins, impressive displays. Ipswich, of course, have played Stoke 20 times since 1995. 4 wins for Ipswich, 9 wins for Stoke, 7 draws heading into this. Ipswich, biggest win for them over Stoke, 4-1 win, scoring 20 goals in those 20 games, and you do the math. As for Stoke, 9 wins, of course, in those 20 games. 4-1 was the biggest. 28 goals scored in 28 games, 1.4 goals game ratio heading into this. Of course, 58% form, though, for Stoke. That's winning 3 out of the last 6. Up against Ipswich, though, 50% form. 1-2 lost 2 and draw 2 of the last 6. However, unbeaten in the last 4. Last time around, the Bet365 was a 2-0 win, but this game's at Portman Road. So last time they played each other there, it was a 1-1 draw. Stoke opened up their account with a 4-1 win over Rotherham. Ipswich with a cheeky 2-1 away day win at the Stadium of Light. They take on Bristol Rovers. Ipswich do in the Cup. Stoke take on West Brom in an all-championship affair. And, of course, both Ipswich and Stoke are expected to win those games this coming week. The odds on this one, then, Ipswich even Stevens for the victory, 13-5 is your, 13-5 is your away win. We are, of course, backing a 2-1 win for Stoke on this one. I think they're going to have a bit too much class, causing a bit of a surprise maybe on the road for some predictors out there. Preston North End up against Tony Mowbray's Sunderland. That's right, getting into the deep end here over at Deepdale. Now, these two sides have played 11 times in 2003. We've got 11 wins for Sunderland, 5 wins for Preston, and we've got 3 draws, of course, heading into this. Preston, the biggest win for them over Sunderland, a 4-1 win, scoring 17 goals in those 11 games, 1.55 goals game ratio. Sunderland, biggest win for them over Preston, 3-0 win, scoring 16 goals in those 11 games, 1.45 goals game ratio. Heading into this, Sunderland, though, coming to this on the back of a 3-game losing run, or a 3-game winless run, 58% form for them right now. Preston, of course, 1 win in 6 for them, 50% form for them, heading into this. Last time around, over at Deepdale was a big 3-0 win for Sunderland, of course, on the last day of the season to get themselves in the playoffs. Of course, the home side hasn't scored a goal in this game since Preston drew with Sunderland back in September 2017, so it might be against the home side here. Sunderland, of course, with the 2-1 loss against Ipswich. Preston could only muster a draw against Bristol City. Preston taking on Salford in the Cup. Of course, Sunderland taking on Crewe also, both of them at home, both expected to get through those games. But the odds on this one then, we got Preston 9-5 for the victory, 5-2 is draw, 11-8 is your away win. Tough one here, going to go with Sunderland, 1-0 win for them, causing a bit of a headache for Ryan Lowe's boys. Into this one, the zinger chicken dinner is the game of the week, isn't it? It's Rotherham up against Championship, forever team. We're always in the Championship. It's, of course, Blackburn Bloody Rovers. Blackburn fantastic, that's what we'll call them. Played each other 15 times since 2002. We've got 8 wins for Rovers, we've got 3 wins for Rotherham, and we've got 4 draws, of course. Rotherham's biggest win for them over us, 4-0 win, scoring 17 goals in those 15 games, 1.13 goals game ratio. Rovers, though, coming to us on the back of 8 wins against Rotherham in the last 15. 4-0 win was also the biggest, 25 goals scored in those 15 games, 1.67 goals game ratio heading into this as well. Our form heading into this is 75% form, just 1 defeat of the past 6. Rotherham with 50% form, winning 3 and losing 3. The last time they played each other was a rough one. It was just last season, 4-0 win it was, of course, by Rotherham. Rovers, of course, open up with a 2-1 win against West Brom. Rotherham also losing their opening game against Stoke. They'll take on Morecambe, though, this week at the New York Stadium. Back-to-back home games for them. Rovers hosting Walsall this week at Ewood Park. The odds here, 90-10 for Rotherham, 7-5 as your Rovers, 23-10 is the draw. I am going with a 2-1 win for Rovers on the road to hopefully make it back-to-back wins. Into the final stretch as we go now as West Bromwich Albion up against Swansea, of course, at the Hawthorns. Now, these two sides have played each other 25 times since 2008. 13 wins for Swansea. We've got 8 wins for West Brom. And we've got 4 draws, of course. West Brom's biggest win, a 5-1 win, scoring 31 goals in the 25 games, 1.24 goals game ratio up against Swansea. Swansea, of course, biggest win for them over West Brom, 3-0 win, scoring 35 goals in those 25 games, 1.4 goals game ratio heading into this. Swansea, of course, unbeaten in the last 3, 58% form for them over the last 6. West Brom without a win in 6, of course, heading from pre-season into the new season, 17% form for them, of course. Last time around at West Brom, it was a 3-2 win for Swansea. In fact, Swansea have won 4 on the spin against West Brom. We're looking for 5 in a row. They're actually unbeaten in 5. West Brom's last victory was at the Hawthorns. It was back in December 2019. It was a big 5-1 win. Of course, the Baggies will take on Stoke in the Cup this week. Swansea taking on Northampton as well over in Wales. The odds for this one even seems for you, West Brom. 14-5 is your Swansea, and 12-5 is the draw. I'm backing the Baggies to get themselves up and running for the first time at home and a cheeky 1-0 win. That's, of course, my picks for that. Make sure you get your own picks as well with the Super League. It is free. See if you can out-predict me this time. It looks like a whole bunch of you did last time, but we'll see about that next time. And of course, a quick look at them once again in all their glory. That's, of course, my picks. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. It'll be Watford still top of the table with Stoke, Leicester, Southampton, Rovers into the top 5 with Cardiff joining them, with Huddersfield, Rotherham and QPR looking ominous down the foot of the table. Of course, that's the situation for me. That's League One. That's another video. But anyway, that, my friends, is what I've got for you. Of course, hopefully you've enjoyed it. And of course, be sure to smash your subscribe, smash your thumbs up, smash the little bell. Of course, non-stop shop for here for Rovers all the way through the bitter end. Hopefully, you'll join me for it too. This weekend, we'll have a watch along with Rotherham. We've got a preview. We'll even have a follow through and all that kind of stuff with a vlog and whatnot. But until then, guys, that's all I've got for you. Subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell. Of course, catch you later for match number 3, and of course, your picks as well. So get in there, make sure your predictions are loud and clear, and I'll catch you later when we come back around.